it's Jon Pertwee playing the Colonel in the Disney movie One of Our Dinosaurs is Missing, or it's the 10th Doctor quoting The Lion King, there are decades of shared history between the worlds of Doctor Who and Disney. Though Walt Disney aims to spread magic and fantasy, while Doctor Who co-creator Sidney Newman wanted his science fiction to be rooted in the believable reality of 1960s London, that hasn't stopped these two cultural powerhouses from colliding in several unexpected ways over the last 50 years or so. Now, the recent Disney Plus deal was the culmination of decades of near misses between the TARDIS and the House of Mouse. And no, we aren't talking about the errant satellite that redirected the Doctor and Mel from 1950s Disneyland to the Welsh countryside.
Hey, this doesn't look like Disneyland.
1975, Tom Baker in Disney Time. One of the earliest crossovers between Doctor Who and Disney actually took place in August 1975, when Tom Baker presented a very special episode of Disney Time. So the show was a co-production between the BBC and Disney and screened clips from various Disney movies and short films. Among the classic Disney movies that were introduced by Baker are The Jungle Book, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, great film, and Return of the Big Cat. Does anyone actually remember that one? I don't think I've even heard of that one. Brilliantly, Baker does the full episode in character as the Fourth Doctor, who wanders around the London Odeon in St Martin's Lane looking for his old friends Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck and Goofy. Now, Baker's predecessor, Jon Pertwee, had also hosted an episode of Disney Time in 1973, though not in character as the Third Doctor. Earlier in 1975, this Odeon cinema had actually opened as the permanent home of Disney movies. And so the Doctor can actually be seen parking the TARDIS under an awning promoting Lady and the Tramp, and then wandering past a huge mural depicting the characters from Robin Hood. Unfortunately, the Doctor actually never gets to catch up with Mickey and Donald and the rest of the gang in person. The Doctor's presence is required by the Brigadier, who leaves a note indicating that he's in a spot of bother. It was a tantalising tease for Terror of the Zygons Part 1, which aired the very next Saturday. Baker effortlessly embodies the spirit of the Fourth Doctor in these rather unusual circumstances, so much so that it's kind of easy to imagine that this is actually one of those fun off-screen adventures that the Doctor takes in between battling the Cybermen and the Zygons.
And it's time to say goodbye to all of you, but I'll be seeing you again very soon.
1981, the Doctor goes to Disneyland? Having been on the air for over 6 decades, it is a minor miracle that the Doctor hasn't actually visited Disneyland in an episode. Of course, the 7th Doctor and Mel tried to visit 1959 Disneyland in Delta and the Bannermen, but that's not the only time that Doctor Who has come close to crossing over with one of Disney's parks. So as revealed by Disney historian Jim Corkis, there was once an idea to actually set a Doctor Who story at Disneyland with the Doctor hunting down a rogue monster. Now, as Corkis explained, quote, there was a proposal for one of the serials to take place at Disneyland where the Doctor would be tracking down an alien. The premise, of course, was that Disneyland is a pretty alien place of its own, so it would be the perfect place for an alien to hide. That sounds amazing. Doctor Who historian Richard Bignell has backed up Corkis's claim, revealing that in 1981, Doctor Who producer John Nathan Turner had pitched the Disneyland storyline. However, Doctor Who's oldest enemy, those pesky old budget restraints, struck once again, and the money just wasn't there to pull such an ambitious serial off. And even if the money had been there, Disney apparently wasn't that keen on the idea. According to Bignell, they reportedly responded, quote, it is against our policy to allow settings like Disneyland and Walt Disney World to be used as background for a program in a non-Disney television series. Bit harsh. The date of this proposal is actually very interesting, as it was very likely something that Nathan Turner had in mind for Doctor Who Season 20, which was then filmed in 1982. Are you telling me there's a version of Arc of Infinity out there where the 5th Doctor ran around Disneyland instead of Amsterdam? Because that seems like it might actually line up. Now, I personally would love to see an episode centered around a Disney park. One of my common answers when people ask me where I'd go if I had a TARDIS is opening day of Walt Disney World. I just feel like it would be such a great setting for a Doctor Who story. I want them to do it. Early 1990s, Doctor Who The Ride. So with a whole universe at its fingertips and with such famous iconography, Doctor Who has always been a perfect property to use in theme parks, escape rooms, and other similar attractions. And although the Doctor himself didn't make it to Disneyland in the early 1980s, Corkis has also revealed that the Walt Disney Company actually wanted to bring the TARDIS to one of its real-life parks a decade later. So in the late 1980s and early 1990s, Disney was on the hunt for franchises that it could buy the rights to, and Doctor Who was on its radar. Disney was keen to buy the entire Doctor Who video library, and if this deal had been made, it could have also led to a full-blown Doctor Who attraction at Disneyland. Corkis described this potential attraction as follows, quote, "Preliminary plans were drawn up for a walk-through attraction at Disneyland's Tomorrowland that would have taken guests through the inside of the TARDIS. There were also preliminary plans for a dark ride through time and space." That sounds amazing. Corkis said that many have speculated that Doctor Who was actually a plan B in the event that Disney's partnership with George Lucas and Star Wars didn't work out. This, of course, wasn't the case, and Star Tours the attraction enjoyed decades of success following its debut at Disneyland in 1987. And look, here's the thing, as much as we love it, is Doctor Who really comparable to the behemoth that is Star Wars? Well, over 30 years later, the TARDIS finally did actually arrive at Disneyland to promote Ncuti Gatwa's first season of Doctor Who. However, as far as we're aware, there are no plans for a Doctor Who ride to follow, which does feel like a missed opportunity. Now, I'm in two minds about this. On the one hand, I love Doctor Who and I love the Disney parks, and a Doctor Who Disney park ride would be amazing. But on the other hand, would this be a perfect example of that over-Disney-fying of Doctor Who that we've all been so concerned about? I don't know. What do you guys think about a Doctor Who Disney ride? Let me know in the comments down below. 1994, Sylvester McCoy joins the Disney Club. So although the period between 1989 and 2005 is actually widely referred to as Doctor Who's wilderness years, the Doctor was never far from our TV screens. Case in point, the 23rd of January 1994 episode of the ITV children's show The Disney Club, in which the 7th Doctor showed up to help host Richard Orford with his time machine. Now, unlike Tom Baker in Disney time, Sylvester McCoy doesn't arrive in the TARDIS, presumably because this appearance took place on the BBC's rival network. McCoy is in character as the 7th Doctor though, reminiscing about the TARDIS and the Daleks while appraising Orford's time-travelling shower cubicle before dematerialising away. 5 years after Doctor Who ended and over 2 years before the TV movie feels like a weird time to have the 7th Doctor turn up on a kids' show. So why did the Doctor join the Disney Club? Well, the full Disney Club episode no longer exists, but from what we can surmise from various descriptions, the Doctor's appearance was part of a time travel themed episode that also featured characters from the sci-fi children's show The Tomorrow People. Hang on a minute, let me just get this straight. So, the Doctor helping ITV promote their rival time travel show. Whew, that Disney money must have been really damn good. 2009, Disney acquires the Doctor's Marvel Adventures. So in 2009, Disney brought Marvel Entertainment, a multi-billion-dollar deal that has dramatically changed the face of film and television. However, one intriguing aspect of Disney's Marvel buyout that often goes overlooked is that technically they purchased the rights to Doctor Who's comic book adventures too. So in 1979, Marvel UK became the license holders to publish original Doctor Who comics, leading to the publication of Doctor Who Weekly, which is now known as Doctor Who Magazine. Bizarre though it may seem, this does mean that the Doctor is a Marvel Comics character, though there would obviously be way more complicated rights issues to sort before Ncuti Gatwa could turn up in Avengers Secret Wars, so hold your horses on that theory. Interestingly though, the Doctor has crossed over with some beloved Marvel characters and one very niche one as well. So in the late 1980s, Marvel UK published The Incredible Hulk Presents, which was a weekly comic for kids which featured original Doctor Who comic strip adventures revolving around the 7th Doctor. The niche Marvel character Death's Head even stepped inside the 7th Doctor's TARDIS in the story Time Bomb, in which Death's Head was hired to kill the Doctor. And during this story, the 7th Doctor lands the TARDIS on top of the Four Freedoms Plaza, which is the home of the Fantastic Four. So, if Pedro Pascal walks past the TARDIS in the MCU's upcoming Fantastic Four reboot, now you know why. 2015, the 10th Doctor and Disney XD. So between 2009 and 2010, Disney XD screened the unofficial Doctor Who spin-off K9 in the UK. After their failed attempt in the late 1980s, it was the closest that Disney actually got to acquiring the rights to anything Doctor Who related, even if that did mean the spin-off couldn't mention the Doctor, the TARDIS, or anything else connected to Doctor Who itself. 5 years later, the American branch of Disney XD acquired the rights to the David Tennant era, which was broadcast from June 2015. Now, the arrival of the 10th Doctor on Disney XD was heralded by several fun promotional videos, including a trailer where the TARDIS appeared in various shows already on the network. So the TARDIS was seen crossing over with and crashing into the likes of Gravity Falls and Kirby Buckets, before an epic voiceover guy heralded that Doctor Who was coming to Disney XD.
So you want to see what's on TV? Doctor Who, Disney XD premiere, Saturday, June 13th at 9.
Now, it is unclear why only the 10th Doctor episodes were included in this deal, though perhaps it was all about testing the waters with the most popular Doctor. That seems like the most likely. And of course, this wasn't the first or last time that David Tennant and Disney would cross over either. With his roles in DuckTales and the Star Wars franchise, David Tennant has a long history of working with the Walt Disney Corporation. It then is interesting to ponder whether these 2015 reruns, plus Tennant's list of Disney credits, played a part in the decision to launch Doctor Who's Disney Plus era with David Tennant in 2023. Speaking of which, 2022, the Disney distribution deal. Decades after they first attempted to acquire the rights to Doctor Who's library, Disney finally became the international distributor of the show in 2022, which almost feels like ancient history at this point, doesn't it? The announcement was made alongside various public appearances from Ncuti Gatwa, who featured on American talk show Live with Kelly and Ryan to discuss his casting as the 15th Doctor. Gatwa's morning TV appearance then was followed by a joint BBC and Disney statement in which they affirmed their desire to turn Doctor Who into a global franchise. Now, while the jury is still out on that, the BBC-Disney merger fundamentally changed Doctor Who for the streaming landscape. And while some of these changes, like the midnight releases of new episodes, were met with criticism from the UK-based fans who felt like they'd been shortchanged, the show did benefit from a big marketing push. Now, it's unclear whether this push paid off in terms of streams on Disney+, and Russell T Davies has recently stated that Disney is making no decision about a Season 3 greenlight until after Season 2 airs, seemingly delaying production on a new batch of episodes that the BBC and Bad Wolf are themselves very eager to make. Still, after so many years of near misses, the Doctor Who-Disney partnership could very well extend past Season 2, and the upcoming spin-off The War Between the Land and the Sea. A TARDIS theme park ride definitely could be beneficial for everyone involved, as would Disney getting its hands on some Doctor Who merch to flog around the world. And actually, while we're on that topic, many people have asked me where I got my Loungefly TARDIS bag from, and I actually did get that at Disney World, although it was only available in one location, which was the UK Pavilion in Epcot, and this was about 5 years ago, and I didn't see any there the most recent time that I went. But that is where I got it from. Anyway, for even more Disney connections, I would recommend you check out 10 times Doctor Who appeared in movies, which, now that I think about it, may be a spoiler for what films might be on that list, but you get the idea. In the meantime, I've been Ellie for Who Culture, and in the words of Riversong herself, goodbye, sweeties.